Hello all you beautiful people out there, what is going on? This is your friend Britik coming at you fast with another Paragon video, and today we're going to be looking at a deck, and not just any deck, but the only tank jungle deck that you will need for v43.3 until they modify some more of the cards. So this can be custom sculpted to your specific hero of choice, but this can apply to any jungler really, for the most part, even Shinbi. Probably not Kalari though, maybe not Sereth. You can probably do a more damagey type build, and even Feng Mao works pretty well with red-green still. But this is just a really solid deck for like Richter or Sevarog or Kwang or anybody that's remotely tanky. It's just a really nice deck because it's a really good balance. So let's go over the gems first. You're only going to have one gem here in the agility, and that's Jungle Assassin, of course. You're going to have quick exit because even though they did nerf it, it's still very useful to get back into the jungle and rotate quicker. Mana Reactor is always really nice so you don't run out of mana. Mana is definitely a struggle for a lot of fighters, including Kwang and Feng Mao and even Richter sometimes. So getting hit when you take 6 damage, you'll get mana back. That's definitely very useful. Damage return, this is just if you're building, again, tankier. Return 10% of basic damage taken. You're going to be taking quite a bit of damage, so returning 10% of it back, it stacks up. It adds up. Why not, right? Reflexive Purify. Now, this one is a bit, this is up to you. I don't really like using Consume the Dead. I don't find it that useful, unless, you're using Zincs with Withering Shadow, but that's like the old meta. I like Reflexive Purify. Purify yourself after taking 300 damage. You don't, excuse me, wow. Frog in my throat. You don't know how much DOT you're going to be under, like from a Morgesh Hive. You don't know if you're going to be slowed at the time. It might save your life sometimes, and you just might not even notice it. It's a very useful gem. And then Improved Health Regen is just really nice for late game sustainability, so you don't have to back in the middle of a fight. Like you're fighting, and then you step out, you regen a little bit of health, and you can come right back in. This is really nice. This can bring your health regen up to about 100 plus if you let it stack up enough. So yeah, this is a really good gem. I really like it more than the other ones in the slot. So those are the gems. As you start off, you're going to have Cull the Weak. You're going to put 1 point into your Jungle Assassin. You're going to have Cull the Weak because it just helps you clear the jungle minions so quickly. It works on the big minions, so it's just so efficient, right? Like you can just shave off 100-ish health, 140-ish health from the last hitting on the minion. So it's just really nice, very efficient. You have Exoskeleton here because usually you'll back with 1 point in agility and 1 point in vitality. Or if you are playing someone like Sevarog who struggles with sustainability when it comes in the jungle, you can use the Mother Tree, which gives more mana regen, and more health regen when in the jungle. This is really nice to have, especially on someone like Sevarog or even Feng Mao. Some people who don't have any restoration, like Kwang with his lifesteal or Rampage with his passive. So that's up to you. You'll probably have to ditch Cull the Weak in the very beginning then, and it will make you less efficient, but it'll make you more sustainable so you can come out of the jungle ready for those ganks. Flame of Zetchin is just nice to have. It's a free card once you get 6 points. It's just nice to use on green buff and on Raptors, even on any kind of camp until you get the cards you want in this final build. It just helps you out with farming. Green Spring is just there also along the way to give you some more health regen and some basic armor if you need it. Now I have Possessed Spraken in here because Possessed Spraken is probably the most broken card in the game now after they nerfed everything else. Now everybody's using Possessed Spraken because it just gives you so much health regen for only 3 points, and it gives you health, and it gives you power. Like, it's ridiculous. Even though you cannot unequip it, you can still have it in your final build and it'll still be useful. Once you pair it with other stuff like Unbroken Spirit and then one of the tribe, you're good. You don't even really need to worry about anything else. So I actually run this on Shinbi early game, and I might even start running this on Kwang early game just to make sure he never ever dies. He just can be a complete tank. But I don't typically prefer this because I like having a very nice late game build, which involves actually Growth Totem. So Growth Totem is free once you get 9 points. Definitely get it when you have 9 points. So usually I have like 3 points in agility and 5 points in, or 6 points rather, in vitality when I go back and get this. Make sure you get this as soon as possible. Like as soon as you get 9 points, if possible, if your teammates aren't in danger, if you don't see a good ganking opportunity, if you're just farming, just back first, get this growth totem and go back to farming, because the sooner you get it, the stronger you're going to be. So definitely focus on that. Tyrant is something that you want to get ASAP as well, ASAP Rocky. So once you have 3 points in agility, 3 points in vitality, throw everything away, put Tyrant on, and as you're getting your points back, you can put Cold of the Week back on, you can put Mother Tree back on, whatever you want to do. But get Tyrant as soon as possible to get the jungle minion kills and all that. Numbing Rogue is one of the final late game cards in this build. 300 health, 36 basic armor, just an amazing card for tanking. I don't even really care about the passive on it, that you reduce nearby enemies, reduce their attack speed by 20%. It does not stack, so if you have multiple people with it, it's still always just going to be 20%, but I just like it for the stats. It just has really, really solid stats for a tank, and that's why I like using it. Plague Lord Malink is very situational. This is something that you would use with your team. Maybe if you're like a Jungle Steel or a Richter Steel who's focusing on intellect for whatever reason, for more mana, or just because your team needs it, Plague Lord Malink is not a bad card to have, but it's not one of our primary concerns. What it is Unbroken Spirit. So Unbroken Spirit is still very, very good, very, very useful, a lot of health, a lot of ability armor, less power, but still does the same thing, and still just an overall amazing tank card. So this is where you're going to get your ability armor. Numbing Rogue is where you're going to get your basic armor and some health, and Growth Totem is going to be your health, mostly your health. So it's all really, really it just goes hand in hand. This is just so well-rounded and perfectly sculpted together. And then if the game goes really, really late, you can actually switch out Growth Totem for one of the tribe, because this gives you 420 health, aka 21 minutes worth of Growth Totem. So if it goes past 30, then you might have more health with Growth Totem at this point, excuse me. But one of the tribe just gives you so much power that even on a tank, you'll still be doing a ton of damage, especially if you're someone like Kwong, who just specializes in burst damage. It's actually crazy. So yeah, so those were the gems right there, and then we got all the cards right here. So yeah, that's the tank jungle deck, the ultimate tank jungle deck. Let's move into some gameplay just to show this thing off a little bit, and then we'll get on out of here. Now, you're going to see this build not completely built here. It's halfway built. It's got the Growth Totem part, it's got the Unbroken Spirit part. I still have Tyrant on there though for the health bonus and for the damage bonus. You're gonna see that you're still a tank, like, with this build. You can just imagine how much tankier you are with 300 more health and 36 more basic armor from Numbing Rogue. But here we have this fight at Prime. I would just go in. They just don't deal much damage to me. If they try to CC me or anything, it's just not going to work. I'm just going to get some health back with Unbroken Spirit and just keep going. It's just a tanky build. Like, even if they try and focus me, they still wouldn't be able to do much, especially the carries once I end up getting the basic armor online. We'll move on a little bit later into the game so I could show you guys my fuller build, but in the middle stages of this build, you're still doing a good bit of damage. At the end, you're becoming more so of a tanky tank. And by that time, I mean, I almost had 4,000 health by the end of this game, just from this build, and that's not including all the armor and everything else. So let's jump to that real quick. So this right here is actually a great example to show off this build right now, because I'm going to be tanking a lot, taking a lot of damage. It's actually going to be a 2-phase fight. So here's the first phase. I end up hitting Crunch over just because I don't know, like, I didn't want to go for Grim because he had the bubble, but that was my bad. I probably shouldn't have hit Crunch. So we end up having a really bad team fight here. But I still take up a lot of the damage. People are hitting me. We got Wraith constantly shooting at me. We got Crunch punching me, Richter hooking me, everything that you can possibly think of, taking a whole bunch of shots, and I managed to escape nonetheless. And come back, get all my health, and then we actually win this second team fight. So here you're going to see me back, and come back. So it's just an all-in-all, probably the most solid, most well-rounded tank build you can have with these 3 cards as your final cards. And as you're moving up, you're going to have cards like Tyrant giving you health, you're going to have stuff that give you damage, you're going to have Growth Totem consistently giving you the same amount of health as it did before, with a little bit less damage this time. That's okay, don't really worry about that, because you're all about that power. So here, I actually whiff the fucking thing. I don't understand why I'm so bad with Sevarog lately when it comes to whiffing those things. I mean, I guess I haven't played him in a really long time because he hasn't been that great as of late. But now after this buff, he is definitely way more playable. But yeah, it's just a matter of being a goddamn tank, really, when it comes to it. You gotta be a tank with CC that can peel for your team, and Sevarog's really great for that. Kwang's great for that. Rampage is good for that. Feng Mao can also be tanky if you want. He can be a bit bruisier if you want. But yeah, this is just the tanky build. The tanky final build really hasn't changed too much, besides pretty much one card. So, yeah, there you guys have it. Instead of Unstable Cyborg, you now use Numbing Rogue for your basic armor for the most part. Then you can also, you know, build into basic armor on its own by slotting agility points, and then you can actually move into one of the tribe as well for your final build, if you want, that is, if you want, and that can replace literally anything, probably Growth Totem. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If this did help, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay locked for all the guides, builds, tips, tricks that you want when it comes to Paragon. I'm going to try my very best to be as efficient with those as possible. Boom, tank that. Tank that. Grim Blast did nothing to me. And yeah, now it's time to go ahead and dive some towers and hit some Revenants in the face. If you guys did enjoy, again, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, have a wonderful day.